So my son calls me and he's like, "Happy birthday, Dad." And I'm like, "Thanks, son. Is everything okay at the beach?" He's like, "Everything is fine. We're having a great time. I saw dolphins, right?" And I'm just like, "Dolphins? Like, that's crazy." Like, he's telling me about these dolphins. So I'm like, "All right, cool. Well, how's your sister?" She's like, "She's fine. I'm like, "Okay, cool. Um, where is she?" And he's like, "Oh, she's nearby. She's in the other room, blah, blah, blah." Now, she didn't get on the phone, which was a little strange to me, but I kept it pushing. I could actually hear in the background, you know. And so at this point, I'm just like, okay, well, maybe she's mad. Um, you know, Maybe she's in trouble with her mom, and her mom are dealing with it at this time. And I don't want to disturb that, so I'm just gonna keep it moving, whatever. Now, I haven't talked to her since she left with her mom, and I got a little worried because, I want to know how she's doing. Like the police were called, and that too. But I don't get that opportunity. So that Monday is when she was supposed to drop the kids off. So I'm sorry, that Sunday is when she was supposed to drop the kids off. So she hits me up on Sunday via text telling me, and you know what? Maybe it was Monday. Hey, I can't make it today. Traffic is bad, right? No problem. I know that you're driving. No big deal. Like, you're cool. Tuesday comes, right? Hey, I can't make it. Like, we're backed up. Um, you know, we got a lot of stuff going on. We won't be able to make it today. So I hit her back like, hey, well, what do you mean? What's going on? Like, what do you mean? Like, yesterday traffic was bad. So, like, I don't understand what that got to do with today. And she doesn't respond, you know. And hours go by and she tells me, well, we're going to be there late, right? We're coming in and we're just going to be there very late, around 10:30, 11. And it'll be too late to drop the kids off. I'll just drop the kids off later. I said, like, no. But she doesn't tell me what time she's going to be there. I'm sorry. She just said that they're going to be there too late. So I said, I don't understand what time is too late. I'm their dad. Just drop them off. Like, we don't live too far from each other. Get off the freeway, drop them off. I'll put them in the bed, and you going back home. Not a big deal. No, it'll be too late for that. The kids are already tired. I said, yeah, no, don't worry about that, right? Just drop the kids off. No, we're gonna go home and we'll drop them off. I'll drop them off tomorrow. And then she stops responding to my phone calls and my text messages. So I sent her a message. I said, look, I'm gonna be at your house at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or whatever time, and I'm gonna be asking for the kids. So just be prepared. So it'll be easy for you to just communicate with me and drop them off or let me meet you somewhere to pick them up. Like, it's not a big deal, whatever. So she said, don't come to my house. You're not welcome at the house. Um, you know, uh, Something along those lines. And you can pick the kids up tomorrow at noon, right? So I'm like, dang, like, okay. So the next day, hey, we still meeting? What's going on? No response. So I'm getting mad. Text message getting stronger. What's going on? Why are you ignoring me? Right? I'm coming over to get the kids. I'm gonna drop the kids off you can pick the kids up at 6 at the police station. So I'm like, bet that. You know what I'm saying? Say less. Like, you want to do this? Like, you want to go to the police station? No problem. I show up at the police station because, remember, this is the first time. We normally just drop the kids off at each other's homes. Pick them up at each other's homes, drop them off, not a big deal. So she's like, you can meet them at the police station. So I said, all right, cool. So I show up at the police station, and when I show up, she's parked way over here. I got to park way over here, and there's a bunch of cops out there. So I'm like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, there's got to be something going on for somebody else. And no, they were there for me. So what happened is that some cop come over and he gives me some paperwork and he's like, okay, well, you got a restraining order served on you. And I'm like, a restraining order? And those cops, I want to let you know, those cops, they saw what was happening, but there was nothing they can do, right? Their job was just to serve me, and they did. Now I was confused. I didn't understand what was happening, and I'm looking at her play this sad, all these nouns, victim, okay? through her car window. Um, and, you know, I'm like, that's my daughter. You telling me I can't see my daughter for a whole year because I spanked her, I disciplined her? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get nothing. Like, he's like, oh, you can appeal this, you know, and I break down, right? I break down, I start crying, you know, I get weeped. Now, at this point, my son gets out of the car, you know, and he comes running to me and he hugs me. And, you know, I try to be tough, you know, and the cops see that, right? Like they see that. They were blocking me from getting to her, not in a sense where they were just blocking me from seeing her. But I can see my daughter through the window and she was waving at me and she was blowing kisses at me. I'm still confused. I know she's confused. I put my son in the car and we drive off. And when we drive off, he starts telling me, you know, like, this is what happened, you know. That day, mom called the police. The police show up really late. They woke us up and, you know, they took pictures of Layla and blah, 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 and all of this stuff, you know, and he was scared. He's like, are you going to jail? I'm like, no, I hope not. You know, is mom going to jail? Probably not. More than likely, absolutely not. Are we going to see Layla again? And I pause and I don't really have a straightforward answer. But I tell him, like, if I'm going to do everything I can, son, you know, I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm going to find out and I'm going to try my best to make it right. He says, okay. You know, we haven't even gotten home yet, and he's talking about that he misses his sister. And we get home, and I start the process on trying to get my daughter back. I end up going to court. I end up losing. Bad. I thought that I had everything I needed. You know, I had proof that I was a decent guy, a decent dad. You know, my daughter was sending letters back and forth to me. I got a trial date within 30 days. And my daughter had sent me letters telling me that she misses me, telling me that she's sorry, telling me all of this stuff through my son, okay? And I bring those things to the judge. I'm like, look, like, you're breaking up the home. Like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, I spanked her. Yes, I'm agreeing to that. I don't know that I spanked her this hard for it to leave a mark. I wasn't notified. My ex didn't tell me anything. She just did this. Even she told the judge, yeah, this is his first time doing something like this. He's never been abusive, da 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 da. But yes, she followed through with it. The police dropped their charges. They didn't charge me with anything. They said there's nothing to see here. Like, there was no crime. DCS got involved. They even closed their case. They were like, you know, there's nothing here. There's no reason for us to further investigate. But the restraining order stood. And the restraining order was only granted because she had an open case with DCS and the police. So when they closed their cases, the restraining order was by itself. It stood on its own. It was live. Now, she had every ability to go in and cancel it. Everyone. But she didn't. She chose not to. So I was without my daughter for an entire year because I disciplined her. Because she was playing out in the streets. Fun fact, I get her back on October 11th. You can look on Facebook and see that video. Great video too. I was very emotional. Anyways, I get her back in October. In that same month, she runs out in the street again. And she gets hit by a car. My daughter gets hit by a car. Now, I went up to her after I helped the issue and took care of the matter. I said, Layla, do you remember Mama taking you from me? She said, yes. We're both crying. I said, did Mom tell you that I was wrong? She said, yes. She said that Mom said that you shouldn't have hit me, you shouldn't have spanked me, you know, and that she didn't like that. I said, do you remember what you did? She says, yeah, I was in the streets with food. I dropped food all over the place. I said, do you remember what the spanking was for? She's like, yeah, because I was playing out in the streets. I said, why did you, I said, the spanking that I gave you, did it hurt? She says, yes. I said, did you ever think that I was going to kill you? That you were going to die when I was spanking you? She said, no. I said, this car, did that hurt? She says, yes. I said, did you think that that car was going to kill you? She said, yes. Yes, I did. When I heard him slam on his brakes and then their faces started to lighten up, I got scared. And it happened. I thought I was dead, but luckily I'm not. And I said, luckily you're not. I said, I can't do the damage that this car can do. I'm trying to prevent this car from happening, you know. But yeah, that was a fun fact. A year later, the same month that I got my daughter back, God sent a lesson to you and told you that you were wrong. My ex is who I'm talking to. I can't damage her like that car could have. Luckily, it was going the speed that it was going. Luckily, it saw her in the time that it did. Luckily, my daughter protected her face when she went down, something that I taught her when I was teaching her how to walk. Yep, back with you. I taught her that. I taught her to protect her face, and I taught her how to stand up. And I said, you'll learn everything else. I'm going to teach you the basics, and I'm going to teach you them first. I taught her that when she was like 1 year old, learning how to walk. At this time, she was 8. So what that meant is that something that I gave her naturally, instinctively, stayed with her, even through all of this trauma that she was going through, these issues that she was happening, right? She protected her face as she went down. I was so proud of her. I really was. But she's fine. The car accident, getting hit by a car, didn't damage her or anything like that, but it did wake her up. It did wake her up. That was the first hard thing that she saw, that when mom and dad don't agree, dad is probably right. Yep. Now, when she gets out of the car, she comes right to me. Now, when she gets out of the car and we're in the street, or when we're in the street, she's right next to me. Now, she's looking both ways. Now, right, I don't have an issue when it comes to my daughter and the streets, right? I don't have those issues because she learned. Unfortunately, she had to learn the hard way, and I was trying to help her learn an easier way. But because of your actions, well, it still got done. So, you can't argue with the results. But anyways, that's the story of when my ex called the police on me the second time.